Hi everybody, it's Kev here. Welcome to the podcast. And today I want to talk to you about, my tribute to Teddy Roosevelt. It's been a tribute all week, basically, about the last, 6 or 7 days. I've spoken about his quotes, his life, just the amazing man he was. And today I want to talk about how he received and why he received the very first Nobel Peace Prize for an American. Now, on December the 10th, 1906, Teddy became the first American to win a Nobel Prize. Now, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his work surrounding the Treaty of Portsmouth. And this was a treaty that ended the Russo-Japanese War. A very interesting war, this one, between Russia, or the Russian Empire, and the Japanese Empire. Now, this war took place from 1904 to 1905. Much of the fighting took place in what is now northeastern China. It was also a naval conflict, and there were ships exchanging fire in the waters surrounding the Korean peninsula. It was a very brutal conflict in the Western Pacific. It changed the balance of power in Asia and set the stage for World War I. And in fact, scholars have suggested that the Russo-Japanese War set the stage for World War I and ultimately World War II, as some of the central issues in the first conflict were at the core of the fighting during the latter two. And some have even referred to it as World War I, given that it took place less than a decade before the start of World War I. And basically what started it was that the Russian Empire, who was ruled by the autocratic Tsar Nicholas II, was one of the largest powers in the world, and it was looking for a warmer base for its growing navy during the winter months. So it wanted to take over Korea. Long story short, Japan weren't happy with that. They took them on. Japan ended up winning because Russia became too exhausted. Teddy Roosevelt intervened, worked out a peace treaty between the two countries, and went on to win the Nobel Peace Prize for his work. And the treaty was signed at Kittery in Maine in the US, and that ended the War of 1904-1905. And according to the terms of the treaty, which was mediated by the US President, Theodore Teddy Roosevelt, the defeated Russians recognized Japan as the dominant power in Korea and made significant territorial concessions in China. And the disastrous course of the war had greatly contributed to the outbreak of the Russian Revolution in 1905 and the surrender of Port Arthur, followed by the loss of Mukden and the devastating defeat of Shumi. I think that's how you say it. And that forced Nicholas II of Russia to accept Roosevelt's proffered mediation. It was, however, the Japanese government which had taken the initiative in proposing peace negotiations. And basically Russia were exhausted financially, and they were fearing a bit of a drawn-out war of attrition far away from their home base. And the Japanese hoped that is what would happen with all the unrest in Russia. And yes, the government did come to discuss terms, and they did broker the peace deal. But of course, back in those times, it was a very volatile world. World War I took place less than a decade after the Russo-Japanese War. So very interesting times. And as I say, Teddy, an amazing man. And interesting, it wasn't even a war that involved America, but Teddy had a great love of the world in general and got all the big knobs from Russia and Japan together, worked things out, and then signed the treaty. So just another feather in the cap of the great Theodore Roosevelt, a Nobel Peace Prize, the first American to ever win a Nobel Peace Prize. I hope you enjoyed today's story on Teddy. I'm going to keep going with Teddy because he's just got so much stuff there. He really was sort of the cowboy US president, a real knockabout guy. His stories need to be told because I think a lot of people haven't even heard these stories, and they are just amazing. So thanks for listening, guys, and I will see you tomorrow with some more. Bye now. Well, I really hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you did, please subscribe and leave a review. That really does help us. And also share it with your family and friends. That would be great. And please support my sponsor, Prostate Plus. Prostate Plus supplements really can help shrink your prostate. I use them myself to great effect. The links to Prostate Plus are down below in the show notes. Thanks for listening. See you next time.